I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin. Today I'm joined once more by Karim, former BD of Unix Gaming, the man that can bring it all in terms of gaming. How are you doing today?
What is up, everybody? My name is Kareem, aka Just Kiro, and dude, thanks for having me here once again. We're here to talk about Web3 gaming, finance expert over here. Nobody knows more. Look at his name is Digits. He knows numbers.
I try to keep up to date. The days are long, the
Right,
hours are
and
plentiful.
me, yeah, and I haven't seen the sun in 8 years, so that's me. I know my games.
All good. You're in a dark room. I'm in a bright
Right.
room. The main games, that's what I want to focus on today.
Cool.
Crypto market has been all over the place. We talk with a lot of games. Most of them are shit, right?
Right.
We look obviously from my side for the best opportunities, you for probably the best experience, but also
True.
the work that you did for Unix Gaming was identifying good games
Absolutely.
based on different
Yeah.
levels,
Yeah.
right? Ultimately it's
There's never one determining factor. There has to be more than one to create success.
agree, from the gameplay to perhaps the
Right.
NFTs to the
Right.
vision to whatever the size of the team, the
Yeah.
experience, the Web 2 towards the Web 3, all of these different interesting components. Today I want to highlight, let's say, several different games in terms of what I've seen, the what the market is pushing, right? We're talking about things like Illuvium, perhaps Bigtime, Sidus, and I have arguments for all of these, why I like them,
Yeah.
why I don't like them, but
I'll be
also things
honest. The
like
last
the
one
other
that you
side,
mentioned there, I have too
metaverse.
many bad things to say about.
Oh,
Sidus.
Sidus is one of my favorite ones to
Really?
bash,
Yeah.
based
Okay.
on
Good.
the
Because I can bash
strategy
it for
that they
days.
implemented. We don't have
Good.
that much
Because I
time,
can bash it
but
for days.
I do like to talk some shit about different things. So
Right.
I think when we look at the gaming timeline, which we discussed in our other previous videos, that Illuvium is taking quite a good approach in terms of development and showing skill and expertise along the way,
Mhm.
right? Big Time is doing that with their demos. I believe they look quite good, quite
I'm
professional,
pretty sure Big Time
right?
is pretty much
I think they
fully
fucked
released at
up
this
on
point.
the NFT side quite a bit from what I've been following. Sidence has been a nightmare in terms of valuation, in terms of overhyped, and then the
Yeah.
other side, they're going to take their time. They have established authority
Right.
in the market. They are diluting the market cap of ApeCoin, so the price will go down. They have the NFTs, a strong backing, right? Royalty volume there, incoming revenue streams, and they're going to release a massive hit into this market. At least those are the expectations from my point of view. If you look at something like Illuvium, right?
Mhm.
From what I understand, it's like these animals that can battle each other in their first game, right? More like a Pokemon style game.
Right.
But the thing is, for me, in terms of marketing in general, um, the value is perceived value. That's where it starts, right? Does it look good? Because a trailer is just a trailer. Then the gameplay is the gameplay. And then is it fun to play the game? You'll know that once you start playing it. It's different for every different user, ultimately, right?
Mhm.
But I mean, in general, we compare it not to Web 2 games. We compare it to Web 3 games. It looks amazing, right?
Right.
Probably on one of the highest levels
Fair
out
enough.
there.
Yeah.
Uh,
I like see the thing is, I mean, we're gonna get a little bit nerdy here when it comes to games like Illuvium. They see like games like this, it's really smart when you go for a stylized kind of graphics where it's all colorful and it's intentionally cartoonish visually. That's a very good thing because that takes a lot of pressure off of you um when it comes to like graphical fidelity because look, Minecraft proved it. There's the Counter-Strike. There's so many like examples that I can give you that'll tell you that make the argument. Graphics do not make the game. A
hmm,
game can look. Minecraft is literally fucking
like Sandbox.
blocks. Sandbox. Exactly. They are just squares, blocks, cubes, very low pixel count. The game doesn't need to look good to play good, and that's something that a lot of people, even gamers, they get it wrong. Like they'll look at a game and a trailer and be like, "Look how shit those graphics look." So I'm like, dude, who cares? Like, yeah, okay, fine. Graphics can matter. I mean, especially if you're gonna spend like $2,000 on a graphics card, you want some fancy shit, cool. But you realize how much more difficult it is for the average person to run a game like You know, to this day, Crisis is a fucking meme in the
Oh, I
gaming
just wanted to
community.
say that. You stole it from me. I was
Crisis,
looking for
yeah,
the name. I was like, Sidus
yeah,
now. Yeah, that game
Crisis,
was so
Crisis is a
amazing in
meme
graphics. It was released, nobody could play it, right? Only
to
half a
this
percent of
day.
computers could
To
run it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, to this day, Crisis is still a meme about, you know, being able to run a game, like good graphics. So good
It was
graphics
basically too good to be ran, and nobody
yeah,
could actually play it and
exactly.
enjoy the gameplay. Nobody could rate it because nobody could run it.
Exactly. I mean, like, the same argument I could make with Avatar too. James Cameron wrote it. The
Have you
same
seen
time he
that
wrote.
movie?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
I want to
But
see it.
I know. Yeah, we got to watch it. I know that it was written. Both Avatar 2 and 3 are all the Avatar movies have already been written.
Hmm.
But he
Is it
didn't
from a
release it.
book?
No, it's James Cameron and his James Cameron brain.
I don't know what that means, but yeah.
James Cameron is the director / writer, I think.
Okay. He must be famous.
Yeah. He is. Yeah. So Avatar 2, like, it's been written. It's been there for 10 years. But he was like, I'm not making this movie because the tech isn't there yet. And that was the case. The movie just came out like about 10 years or so after the first one, even though they were written all at the same time, because the tech wasn't there. And he was like, I'm not compromising. And that's a guy. See, when you're James Cameron, you know, when you're one of the biggest directors on the planet, you can say that. You know, when you're somebody like Brad Pitt, you say, I want $1 million an hour. Nobody's going to argue with you. You're Brad Pitt. They want you, they pay for you. Same thing. So, you know, when you get to that level, you get to say, I'm doing things on my own term. Obviously,
But
not everybody has that
Illuvium is not
luxury.
doing that.
No, not that I'm aware of. But yeah, we kind of went off topic. But the thing is, like I said, Illuvium with the graphical, the stylized graphics that they have means that they can devote more resources into how the game plays rather than how the game looks, because stylized, digital, vibrant, cartoonish graphics don't take very much to run. It's very easy to optimize these games to be played by the general public, because not everybody has a powerful 30 series, 40 series graphics card or anything like that. You know, most people are still, you know, the majority of people are running mid to low end high hardware on PC. And I know I'm speaking about PC specifically because as of recording this, there's no such thing as a Web3 game on console. People will tell you that there is, but I'm telling you that there isn't. Everybody who says that there is, they built a separate game for console that ties in to a game that is on PC for Web3. There is no real Web3 on console yet. So that's why I talk more specifically about PC hardware, all that, because that's how most people, Web3 games are going to be run mobile or PC. Consoles are not in the equation.
So Illuvium
for
is
now.
like desktop only, no?
As far as it looks like it's only that PC. Yeah, it looks desktop
Because they've
only.
been doing like a couple of like open alpha, open beta
Yeah.
runs so far. You know, Bigtime has done obviously the Bigtime passes, right? Where you can
Right.
get
I
in.
played that game a lot.
Yeah, how is that?
So look, Bigtime, really fun game. Like, I don't want to bash it because I'm not like, it's one thing to bash a game because it's a bad game, and then there's another thing to bash a game because it's not your game. Because you can
Sure.
be, yeah, like, sushi is great. Not everybody likes sushi. That doesn't mean sushi's bad because people don't like it, because the people
So
that like it
what is
love
it
it.
that you don't like about Bigtime then?
So for me, I like Bigtime was super fun. There's like a lot of like, I'm not gonna talk about like technical crashing and stuff because I played it like with the first group with the gold pass. I was fortunate enough to be given the gold pass by Unix back when I worked for them, and I did do a 24-hour live stream that we somehow managed to lose because it went 24 hours and 3 minutes. So YouTube was like, no, we don't want
Got
it.
it.
So yeah, so it was really cool. I loved the gameplay. It was fun. You could combo and stuff. Like, I had issues with the balancing and numbers, and certain things didn't feel right, but that's all totally normal for early development games, so I'm not going to bash on that. The one thing that I didn't like that was kind of a core feature of the game was the way that you could sit there for fucking 4 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours grinding on a character, getting him strong, and all of a sudden you pick up this, you know, thing. Like, the way that is really unique, the way that they have it, the class is set up, that you could just pick an item up, slot it in, and you have a whole different set of, you're a different class now. You're almost a different character without having to log out, back off, and switch. I like
Okay.
the concept of that. It's like you're playing a troll hunter when WoW. You know, let's say you find a weapon for a rogue. You can't use it as the hunter. So you'd have to go and make a rogue and then blah blah blah. So that was a thing with them, but also they also had these things that basically changed your class. Like you equipped it, and now I'm a hunter. Now I'm a rogue. Now I'm a warlock. Now
Sounds
I'm a.
interesting.
It is a really 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 cool concept. But my problem with it was how often, for example, when I played a mage, obviously you start with the level 0 tier 0 class. You go grind dungeons and you pick up a new mage class, but now all of a sudden I'm already playing a mage, but like I don't want all this time to go to waste, but I kind of have to because the stats here are going to be better in the long term. But the problem with that is that it keeps happening, and it happens way too frequently, so that you're always going to be sitting there. Like you always have this decision paralysis. Like, do I keep this or do I keep this too? Like there is such a thing as having too much choice for a game, especially early on when there is no established
I guess
meta.
like how prone you are to the paralysis, because
Right.
I haven't played it, right? But from what I understand, it gives you kind of like the evolution through the game.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to make a choice that you don't want to get the benefit of the gameplay, and otherwise you don't, but then you stay where you are.
But every time you find a new thing, you basically have to start over from level 1, and that could be
right, okay.
Yeah. So my biggest issue is I pick up this new class. Let's say it's a mage, but I'm a mage. I picked up a mage thing, but this is a tier 4 mage thing. So more abilities, more this, more damage, whatever. But the minute I equip that, I'm level 1 again. I'll have to sit there and level it up all over again. And that is the one thing that kind of bothered me about it. That the way I saw it was like, dude, there's no way, like it's gonna take way too long for me to find one that's just like the best of the best, meta build or whatever.
And there will always be better, right? With future expansions and that type of thing.
And it's too, there's too much variation, and the problem with it is that it's good. Like options are good, evolution is good, but not when it nullifies everything else. So it's cool. I get this high tier mage thing and I got to start from scratch. But the problem with it is that now all the time and energy I put into the previous
is lost.
Yeah, it's gone. And that's what I don't like. I would like to have a way to, for each tier, let's say you have an equation like 10 levels of tier 1 is equivalent to 1 level of tier 4. So if I'm level 30 on my tier 1, I can burn that and get 3 quick levels for my tier 4.
As a compensation benefit.
Exactly.
I get it.
Something that kind of jumpstart
you. What was the best part about Bigtime compared to other games?
Dude, honestly, gameplay. Like the way that the game feels, it was like, aside from the lagging, stuttering, and on obvious like early access issues and all that, it was fun. They had very fluid combos. You had a lot of combo freedom. It reminded me of a game that I really loved when I played MMORPGs called Terra. I don't know if you played it. Probably not. Love the game. Action combat RPGs for me, like as great as WoW was, I don't like World of Warcraft because the combat for me was, you just target and you just, set up a sequence and then you just sit there and watch. There's no real need to dodge around and run around. Like you could just get by just one hand clicking things. And I like more active gameplay, and Bigtime had that, especially as an MMORPG. I liked it. I mean, I know that right now they have a ton more features than when I played it. When I played it was pretty bare, but it was still really fun.
Dynamic
it was still
element
fun.
Is interesting.
So what is it? Game.
Why you think Bigtime is so much better than Sidus?
All right, first of all, I'm like Sidus, I want to say something. They were not upfront with what they were making. To this day, you sit there, you go watch a trailer, you have no idea what you're getting into when you actually play the game. Like they advertise it as this amazing 3D open world experience and all that crap with all this like fancy crap, blah blah blah. I played Sidus, bro. It is the worst possible version of an Axie clone in existence. You play.
I don't know how it works. So how does the gameplay go?
You've got okay. So you've got 3 characters. 3 versus 3. Honestly, the stats make very little sense.
Is it turn-based?
It's turn-based, and it's not even good turn-based, because turn-based isn't objectively bad. Turn-based combat can be brilliant. Final Fantasy VII, prime example of that. Turn-based combat is a great thing. It opens the door for so much strategy and stuff like that. Hearthstone, another great
But would you
example.
say they just deployed this
Just a shit
because
game.
investors wanted to see something or gamers wanted to see something instead of just
I'll be
waiting and building
honest.
actually something good?
I will be honest. If that is the case, first of all, there's no way that they're appealing to gamers with what they released, because holy shit, bro. Like, I sat there, I gave it the old college try. I tried to get into it, but bro, forget how difficult it was to get into a game. Forget the fact that at the time the legendary NFTs cost $17,000 and you need 3 characters to play. Forget all that. Just on a fundamental level, the game had no logic, there's no clarity, especially in a turn-based game. The number one thing you need is clarity. This ability does this percent chance. You need to have numbers. That's how these games work.
Sure.
None of that.
Well, what I've been seeing is that now in the last month they have adopted more the metaverse style, where they're basically having an SDK where they say like, oh, other games can build on the Sidus metaverse, and then the mini
We're
games they're not
doing,
building them themselves. The mini games are sponsored by other companies, basically that
yeah.
way. So now remember the Virtua world that I spoke about before? That's all done in house, right? This would basically follow the same model, but it's all outsourced third party
Yeah.
stuff. Being integrated into a gaming portal, a gaming hub. That's ultimately what it becomes, in my opinion. What do you think about something like this compared to the initial promise of what the game would be like?
They're like, it's basically like saying, hey man, do you want to buy my car? And then you show up and I just tell you, here's the location for a dealership. Right? Like, you come, you give me the money for a car, and I give you a Google Maps location. Go there and buy another car. Like, what are you doing? No, now I have to go and spend them. All I'm saying is like, the way it came off to me, the game is not what they advertised. And I understand that they were very specific about not wanting people to know, oh, it's barely 1% done. We're barely 1% done. Like, okay, if it's barely 1% done, then why the hell are you showing us? If it's 1% done, just keep your mouth shut. You've made your money. You've made the money. I know that they raised their money. I know that they have money. Like, that's it. Now go lock yourselves in a room and finish your goddamn game. We shouldn't be hearing from you until the game is out. You got your money. You can't be sitting here and asking for more.
Yeah,
You
maybe show
can't be
some
sitting here.
artwork and
Right.
those type of things.
Show me progress. I played that game in February-ish, and then I played it again in July. Nothing had changed. Nothing noticeable anyway.
And it's still just only the
nothing.
auto battler thing.
And yeah, like that, and that's like a 6
Because
month
they
period.
sold hella spaceships as well for like 250 grand and shit.
Don't understand how. I really don't. Like,
Cash
I'll be honest.
grab.
Exactly. That's what it is to me. Like, that game advertised well. They made their money. They sold their shit. But ever since they made their money, they have very little incentive to actually produce something that is enjoyable.
Let me spin you with a different one. One of my favorite games for it's Cryowar. It's on Solana. Unfortunately, Solana is not in a good situation. Have you seen it, Cryowar?
Let me.
It's like a mobile arena game. You can actually run around. You have like 4 buttons, and then you just need to kill the people in the arena. But it's a very they're only like 20-second games, so you can just go in transit. You can just play it.
That's brilliant. And like, see, I'm looking at this and I'm already thinking, okay, I know a lot of people hate on Solana, but I still really like the
I don't like Solana. It's just the choice that they made.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I don't know what it is. I
probably
know
they
it's
would
not
offer them a sponsorship to like Polygon and then migrate, because so what they've been doing is they've been doing the alpha, then like a open beta for only 2 weeks, collect all the feedback, user experience, and in the meantime all they do is artwork and lore. That's what they drop to the users. That's what they drop on social media. You know, I'm quite a big fan. I'm quite a big investor in Cryowar as well.
I'm looking at it, and I'll tell you what, it looks good. It looks really good. And what's really, really great about it is that they're fully aware of what they are. Short games, it's a mobile game. That is it. Like, we're not asking you to sit there for 30 minutes while you're taking a dump to play our game. And like, I feel like a lot of like mobile games kind of forget the fact that mobile games are a lot more fast paced.
Like impulsive play as well, right?
Exactly. You're in and you're out. Like, that's the key for mobile gaming. Candy Crush, best example. Angry Birds, best example. You're in, couple minutes, you're out. That's the key to mobile games. People who try to turn that into something bigger, it doesn't work. It like I can think of only a few examples where it does, and that's only because it's based on a more successful PC, like League of Legends or Mobile Legends. I said like for the MOBA, PUBG / I don't even know. I think Fortnite. I don't even know if Fortnite Mobile succeeded because there was a Fortnite Mobile, but I don't see it. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's still out. I don't know what happened to it. It's just gone. It wasn't a success, at least not compared to PUBG Mobile, which is a much bigger success than actual PUBG, which I honestly I would never in a million years have guessed
I would
that
never
was
expected
possible.
it either.
I would never
But
have
that's
in a
Web
million years
2,
expected
and
it.
Web 2 is the
Right.
dark side. We want to be on the bright side.
Right.
When
So
we would
as an
say,
example,
like,
yeah,
one sec, from Sidus to Illuvium to what was the other one?
Cryowar,
Bigtime
Cryowar,
to
Bigtime.
Cryowar. Isn't it the fact that Cryowar didn't raise that much money, right? Isn't it maybe the fact or the common demeanor between these 4 examples, and I think there are many, many more, that the studio should not feel, they should feel the pressure to deliver. They should not rush the development to deliver something which is under the quality of the expectations of what was presented on the marketing promise before.
1,000,000,000%. Yes. I agree. And that's not unique to Web 2. That is a whole thing. Publisher versus developer, Web 2. We will talk about this in another video because it's a whole other topic. The way I did mention it before when I say next gen and why I think so. That is one of the things. I think the biggest issue with investors getting involved into games is that they put money in, they want money now. And they end up having too much influence over the development process of the game. And
Okay,
they
hang
don't
on.
know
Let me
shit about
interrupt you for 1
development.
second. That might be true to a certain extent, but what about Sidus over raising on their promise and then selling more NFTs to raise more money? Well, you know, when you're doing that, you're taking on more responsibility.
Yeah, I think the word for that is scam.
I wouldn't phrase it like that because it's still the investors still have a choice, right? So it's not in that. It's just like you don't have to buy those NFTs, but if you buy it, and the marketing is marketing. Ultimately, you're persuading somebody to buy something. It's fine. You're not forcing them to buy anything. But if I look at
false
Illuvium,
advertising is another thing.
Yeah, but
the way
that's
that
not
Sidus advertised was not what they delivered.
Yeah, but it's not yet, right? That's why it's not illegal or anything.
And that is fair.
They have time, but maybe it's like the wrong execution approach. When I look at Illuvium, Illuvium did like, what was it, like a 400x in the last bull market, something like this. And when I look at their NFT land sale, it was a lot of money, like I think 78 million that they raised on the land sale. But we're used to seeing large land sales from large companies.
Yeah,
it was structured nicely. There were a lot of different options, right? So there was a variety of things, but they didn't rush it, right? It was announced like 4 to 6 months before it went live. The execution was 100% on. It looked clean. There were no issues. And for Sidus, I think if you type in Sidus on OpenSea, there's like 8 collections. Dude, right? From Sidus heroes to badges to all kinds of crap. Where I feel like it's not a huge problem. It's not a huge problem if you can deploy the value quickly and not. What I noticed was,
why am I going red?
Stake, no, just a little. When you stake like a Sidus hero NFT, which you purchased at the time for like $10,000, you stake it. You need to stake it for at least 1 year, right? And then you get a clone of the NFT of like a lower level, which has a value of like $200, right? That makes no sense.
No,
stake it for a year. So those were the first signals to me.
To play the game. Yeah, like they play the game.
I don't know. I've never seen it. If you actually need to use that. But I mean, the over raise,
I had to burn $30,000 in NFTs to play the game.
The bad utility requirements. That's one thing, right? So the initial room demo that I played on camera, that looked quite smooth, right? That was just the initial run around. You could just jump. That's it. But then the NFT. So then I was like, yeah, for Sidus. Then I was like, man, this is not really. You know, with the NFTs, doesn't make that much sense. I'm dumping my tokens. So I dumped my tokens still at 140% gain, right? All the tokens that I had, which were released on the vetting schedule. Great. Didn't make that much money because I didn't invest that much money, but at least profitable. Great. Then, you know, the guy, you know who, as an NFT advisor, started working for Sidus, and I was like, man, they fucked up. If they pick this guy, he doesn't know shit about NFT advisory, and you know, we do a lot of NFT advisory.
Yeah.
So if they sign with this guy, I don't want to do nothing with this project.
Right.
Like, it's basically they're selecting. If you raise, let's say, 100 mil, and you're picking the guy that is cheapest, right? And he has some understanding of NFTs, not that he doesn't know anything, but he has a very bad reputation because he's cheap, right? Because
Yeah.
things are being done in such a way. And what you get ultimately is like, stake your NFT for 12 months. Yeah, because then the floor price goes up. But it's not only about floor price. There's a lot of other elements to consider. Mate, to make a open economy on the back end of a game, just on the NFTs alone, takes me 6 weeks. Just for one collection, how it impacts the entire system, specifically if there's tokens in play and everything, and that's just the staking, right? Just the staking.
And that's wild, because like, to play the game, because you know, when I was with Unix, they were like, here's a legendary and 2 epics, go play the game. I went on, and it took me maybe a week to figure out what the hell I was supposed to be doing. And then on top of that, I had to sit there and then like argue with them, like, what do you mean I have to burn them? And I have to go, you know, to my higher ups and be like, yo, if you want me to play this game, you realize that this NFT's got to get burned. You gave me a $17,500 legendary, and I don't know how much the epics were. I remember how much the legendary was because that number stood out. You need 3 characters to play. So probably close to 25, 30K in value of NFTs that I had to they had to disappear. They had to disappear for me to play the game. I speak to the people involved, and they're like, no, you'll be able to get them back. I'm like, when? Later. When later? We don't know yet. I'm like, okay, this is fucking weird. Now those fucking NFTs that, you know,
and later turns into
it's been a year. It's been a year, and I still cannot take my NFTs back. And on top of that, they are not even worth 10% of what they were worth when they were purchased.
Well, so then I can understand why people would call that scammy. It's still not a scam, right? Because
it's not a scam.
You can read the smart contract, but it just doesn't feel good. It's unethical equation.
It is dishonest. It is dishonest. It is unethical. They knew full well, but I'm telling you right now, they knew exactly what they were doing.
But I would say scam is illegal, and this is still just like unethical business practices. Everybody can have their opinion on it, and of course.
Okay,
but so yeah, that's
look, the Sidus guys, you watch this, come prove me wrong. I will. If you guys can prove me wrong and show me that I don't know what I'm talking about, and show me that you've built more than you've shown me, I will say I'm sorry. I'm not too proud to say that I was wrong, but it's been a year, guys, and I want my goddamn NFTs back. Like, that's not happening, right? And it's not just me, it's everybody. And I'm talking from a gamer's perspective. I would happily have burned those NFTs. Well, especially since I didn't pay for them. Happily have burned for them and then played the game because it's a fun game, dude. Doesn't matter how much you pay me. Like, I cannot play that game. It's just not good. Like, on a fundamental level.
Clunky. Yeah, and that's what we discussed. Like, that's the most important part. You don't want to grind to win, you know? That's
right. And you don't want to have a painful experience to get your like if I'm playing the game and I don't know, like, for example, I don't know what, you know, what's going on in the actual game. Like, I don't know what numbers, what's my crit chance, what's my health, how much, what's the shield, what does this do, what if I click? Nothing, absolutely zero UI. And I mean, like, buddy, you're making a game that only works when people know what they're doing. Like,
yeah,
like they have so little input that the most that they could do is choose which button to click, and none of the buttons even have UI. 6 months it took them to build a description for abilities.
Ah, but I reckon that they have so many different plans, and the plans change, and then you get this type of equation where it's just uncomfortable for everybody. They want to deliver, they deploy things too early, the plan changed, now it's some kind of metaverse thing. All in all, what do you truly have? Maybe a desperate team, angry investors, angry VCs, and when the market becomes bullish again, everybody's loving it again, right? So that's obviously market sentiment to consider.
I'm not that much of.
They might hit a home run. You never know.
Exactly. I'm not too much of a prick to admit that. Hey, I'm not saying it's a lost cause. I'm not, because I don't know.
But for what you've seen so far, it's very
from what I've seen, I wouldn't invest in it. I wouldn't play it. Like, I'm talking both spectrums. You yourself, as the expert in the matter, you've done more than all right for yourself. You know, you've managed to pick the right projects to invest in.
Comfortable.
Yeah. You could take a look at it and be like, I don't like this. And that's in an investment perspective. I'm coming in a gameplay perspective, and I'm looking at it, and I can't help but think about the investment perspective as well. But
Yeah, but
even if
same.
I,
Ultimately, what you mentioned
yeah,
before, way back, is like
but
the gameplay. If
I'm,
it doesn't make sense, token will
yeah,
go down. Ultimately.
and I'm sitting there, and my job to play a game, and I'm saying, dude, I quit. Like I will give up a paycheck to avoid playing the game. That is a red fucking flag.
Yeah, that's bad. That's
Like
bad.
I
That's
will
bad.
throw a paycheck away to not play that game.
So when you look at like bigger scale projects, right? We discussed Illuvium, Bigtime briefly. Now Sidus on a little rant. When we look at something like Other Side from Yuga Labs, what do you think about something like that? What they're going to
From
do for
other
the
side.
industry? Yeah, is the metaverse from Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Oh yeah, I'll be honest, man. I have not taken too much of a look at the metaverse for the Bored Ape Yacht Club.
There's not much to look at. That's the thing.
Yeah. All I know is that there's a plan, and then there was the Bored Apes, and then Ape Token, and I don't know very much about that specific project. I'll be honest. I don't want to talk about things that I don't know about, and I'm not just going to research them in the middle of a video either. But
What
like, for
about
example,
let's switch it to another big one then.
Gunzilla or something.
Delysium.
Delysium, brilliant. Like, I've been watching Delysium. It looks incredible. And they haven't changed. They are still, on target. They're not, maybe they're behind schedule, but they are not changing the what they are promised to deliver. And for me,
Is there
that's
any alpha season already, or is there nothing there yet?
I
Because
have
they're
not.
taking their
I'll be
sweet
honest.
time, yeah.
I haven't seen a playable version
I
of
think they
Delysium.
did the NFT drop with Unix like a month and a half
Yeah,
ago, but that wasn't announced properly.
I played. I don't think it was Delysium, but I played Vigilancer or whatever it's
Yeah.
called now. Very similar. I'm not even sure what I'm allowed to say on the matter, but I'm pretty sure that Vigilancer and Delysium have become one or whatever. But Vigilancer, I played a very, very, very early prototype with some of the devs.
I think I looked at the Unix
So
setup last
cool.
week, and Vigilancer is no longer under their assets.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not gonna
I
tell, but
think
I
they
can tell
sold
you.
that game studio that they
Yeah,
had. I'm not sure.
I think they did. But I'll be honest, I liked it. I liked Vigilancer. I love the idea, the concept. It was really, really, really just a incredibly unique
But I know that's
and
not like a well-funded game
cool.
ultimately, and
No,
Delysium
but
is. So what is it
yeah,
about Delysium that makes it then? Because ultimately there's no gameplay as of
no,
yet. What
I'll
is
be honest.
the overall
From my
scope?
own, it's a really, really ambitious project. But it looks so cool.
In
Like
which way? Let's pretend that
like
I've never seen it because I only
it.
looked at the white paper.
So it's got a very cool. Like, for me, I love, like, a lot of people hated on Cyberpunk. Yeah, it had its problems, but I enjoyed it on a core level. It's a fun game. A lot of
What's fun
RPG
about it?
elements. Your freedom, like what you do. There's so much
I don't
diversity
know.
with
What
all
can you
these.
do? I don't know what the game is. I know that this is the one game that
Right.
got
I
hacked or
should.
some shit. Yeah.
Okay. Cyberpunk. So
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077 was a big thing. It was announced a long time ago. It took a long time in development, and then
It's the yellow
the
cover.
yes. So what happened was the Keanu Reeves came on, and you're breathtaking. Oh wow. Anyway, so that game is a amazing example of the topic that you were talking about when you're talking about investors pushing for early release and stuff like that. That game is a perfect example. CD Projekt Red, the developers, did not want to release Cyberpunk, but they delayed it so many times after announcing. I'd rather a game just don't say an announcement date ever, because the minute that you say that and there has to be a delay, you're going to disappoint people.
Yeah,
And
it's a commitment.
that is a mistake that CD Projekt Red made with Cyberpunk. They kept promising these release dates, but then they kept postponing them, and this happened for over a year and a half until they finally just gave in and released it, and it came out
Yeah, but a year and a half
buggy and
of delays,
broken.
that's quite significant now.
But the size, yes, it is significant. But the game, the original announcement, they announced the game, and the very first tweet it was just a little teaser, like flashing Cyberpunk 2077 coming, and then you're expecting a date, and then it just says when it's ready. That's it. I don't give a shit about you. You'll get it when you get it, and that's the way to do it if you're building a game. Like, you cannot let your audience dictate what you do. You show
No, but
them what you're
ultimately, that's
building.
obviously not the way to raise money, because there has to be a
No.
roadmap,
But at that
all these
point, I'll
things.
be honest. But CD Projekt Red, they raised their money with The Witcher. Like, that's it.
Sure.
Same developers, The Witcher. So, Witcher was a masterpiece. Cyberpunk, not so much.
Okay, now back to
In my opinion,
Delysium,
it's still a
please.
fun game. So Delysium for me gives me cyberpunk vibes, and I love
Okay,
the
but we still don't know what the fuck
aesthetic.
the game is about, bro.
So it's a shooter, as far as I
Okay, a
I don't know
shooter.
like the plot behind Delysium, and I don't know everything that's gonna happen.
Okay.
It is a
But is it
shooter
the same
RPG
like the
game.
fucking arcade from the white paper? Because they have some gamification on the white paper that you need to jump to open it. It's man annoying. I fucking hate that.
Right.
Everybody loves it,
I
but
didn't.
I hate
I'll be
it.
honest. I haven't seen it. I'll be honest. I haven't seen it. But that's
It's like you
I'll
get
be
like
honest.
like an arcade guy that needs to run, and you have like different options like pitch deck, white paper, but you need to touch it. And I
Oh,
open the white paper like 5 times a day when I'm reading it, and every time I need
yeah,
to play that dumb game to get to the fucking white paper. I'm like, just give
yeah.
me a
They,
link
they
straight to the
I,
white paper.
yeah.
Fucking
I
hell.
like. I really like the idea of having that like little game
Once.
thing. Yeah, once. But
Play the
then
game, get the link,
you're,
and then you can just run the link.
now your browser saved it. Good, cool. We're done here. I don't want to keep doing this. I agree. Cool as hell. By the way, really, really unique. But I feel like maybe you're spending a little bit too much time linking to your white paper when you should be
Well,
spending
it
it
does
on the
look
game.
premium, for a project that wants to raise 40 million. I think
Right.
that's like 40 million. It's like a fully diluted value of like 250,
Wow.
500 million. So
Yeah.
that's like massive.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a huge, it's an ambitious project, a shooter game. I don't really like. I don't. There isn't that much information out yet on what kind of shooter it's going to be. What kind of competition is it going to be? It's going to be like
So what is it that you actually like about it if you don't know anything about it?
I'll be honest. Like I've seen just very very quick clips of it, and for me, it just reminds me of Cyberpunk. I love the aesthetic. The guns look really really cool. The animations look solid. I haven't played it myself, so this is one of those situations where I'm going. Well, pure. I tend to not judge games based on what I see. I have to get my hands on them. But based on what I see
If
from
it's not
this,
ready yet, then yeah, what can you
it
do?
looks it looks cool. It looks cool. It gives me cyberpunk vibes. A lot of people hated on cyberpunk. I understood. I kind of felt bad for CD Projekt Red because I'm like, dude, you guys should have just told your audience to shut the fuck up. You made the money on The Witcher 3. You could afford to take a hit here. Just release the game properly so you don't take the hit to your reputation like you did.
Yeah, but I
But
still
yeah,
know a
but
lot of people that did enjoy it, and so many people
I
played it anyway.
fucking loved
So
Cyberpunk. I
ultimately, I
loved
think
it.
the crashes in the first week. Anyway, let's not go too much off topic.
Yeah.
Let me sum it up for
Yeah.
everybody.
So
Let me sum it up because we got
yeah,
some good insights.
why I like Delysium is because I like Cyberpunk. I don't know if that's a good
Sure.
reason. I don't know if that's a
As
valid
a
enough
player,
reason.
maybe. Why not?
But for
They
me,
chose the right direction in that case
that's
for
what
you.
I liked about it. That's what I
All
liked
right,
about it. Although,
let's say
yeah,
this, yeah. Games should take their time to be developed. That's one thing. They
100%.
should not over-race, and they
No.
should not implement cash grab models. If you go NFTs, make sure the NFT strategy is clear from the start, and that
Right.
the utility is relatively set to either be experimental or market condition relative. And 1 year staking for NFTs, there have to be significant rewards,
Yeah.
and not just like
Yeah.
stake a $10,000 NFT for $200, 1 year lock.
Right.
Makes no sense.
That's-
$10,000 NFTs to play the game, depreciation in value, appreciation in value on either sides. Makes no
First of all,
sense.
$10,000 to fucking play a game.
Yeah, but that's
What?
like the hype and the speculation on the token at the same time. It was doing really well, it was pumping in that November period.
Yeah, but
Overall,
as a gamer,
it is
does not
quite,
make sense.
but overall it's quite clear that the focus wasn't there on the gamer, which is
Yeah,
one of your
it
major
was-
points. Like
exactly.
shift that or make it like 60-40.
Right.
Don't feel the pressure. There's a lot of good things that I think are very obvious, right? And I think all of these projects understand, but they need to
Right.
the narrative from both the investor side and the gamer side. The gamer should say, this is what we want, listen to the investors. The investors will say, this is what we want, listen to the gamers. And then that tie bridge is why we are here today.
Perfect.
To ensure that these things actually happen.
So a really good rule of thumb, I would say, if you're out there and you're making a game and you're trying to raise for it, if you don't feel confident enough or comfortable enough to go and get on Kickstarter, like I told you about
But they
Star
can't
Citizen.
go on Kickstarter because we're selling tokens.
You can raise for blockchain projects on Kickstarter
With like equity?
Yeah, I think so. Or I don't even think it's equity. I think you just say, hey, yeah,
give money and you get NFTs.
you give money, you get something out of it. What you see, the thing is with Kickstarter and crowdfunding, you choose what you give. You choose what you give. But if you don't feel confident enough to go put your project out on Kickstarter,
nah, but we got to save this for the token conversation on how to raise money, because that's an interesting one. I just wanted to talk about the games, but we have identified the interesting ones.
But the rule of thumb is if you don't have enough to show gamers, because if you're going on Kickstarter, you're not appealing to investors anymore. You're going straight to the gamer.
Sure.
So as soon as you go to Patreon or Kickstarter or subscribe, whatever, you're going straight for the gamer. And if you don't have enough to show to raise, even if you don't hit your targets, but if you can't raise $1 on Kickstarter, then you should not be talking to investors either.
Same. Yeah, I agree. The end user in mind
Right.
is definitely an interesting topic to debate at a later stage. Kareem, you
Yeah.
have identified for us the games, the problems, potential solutions, and we'll see how the bear market develops. Circle back on this topic a later day. Thank you so much for being here once more. Legend.
Pleasure.
And everybody on the other side, thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next one.